Rev up your engines! Well, it's pouring rain outside today, so I'm going to show you some great products that I've tried out you might find very useful. But let's forget useful for the time being and talk about something that's fun, and it's in this trunk. I've been trying out dozens of electric bicycles, and here are my 2 winners for Rhode Island. As you notice, they fit in the back of the Matrix quite nicely. Now, individual people have individual needs, right? These 2 bikes are perfect for myself and my wife, and I'm going to explain why. These fold so I can fit 2 of them in the back of the Matrix. Now, granted, it's heavy. It's a heavy job getting them out. There's no arguing that. But you can figure out with a little wiggling. There we go. Admittedly, I was lazy and I left my Hulkman charger in there. I should have hidden it under the back seat or something, right? That's what fell down. Hey, while we're at it, best jump starter I ever had, these Hulkmans. These things last. They can charge all kinds of stuff. There's so many different ones out there. I've tried out dozens of them. It's the best one I've found. It's not cheap, but it works. A year later, when you need it, it's going to jump start a car. It's not going to go click, click, click. Oh, gee, the battery's no good. This particular one's called Vitamin, and really, once you get the gist of it, it's pretty easy putting them back together. Folds in half, then it just locks. Now that part's done, we'll put the kickstand, and then the handlebar. There it goes. You lock it in place. You gotta make sure it's open. Then it locks. This snaps on, and that locks it in place. Except in the pedals. You can see the pedals fold in too. See how nice they are? They fold in and they fold out. You want them flat so they don't make any holes and they fit in a smaller space. Then you just push them in, and then they lock in place. Okay, so why do I like this Vitamin bike? There's a lot of reasons. One is, got a big battery. I have ridden this thing upwards of 70 miles when I use the pedal and pedal assist. That's a long distance to go. And of course, that's with pedal and pedal assist. You can go 8,000 miles with just the pedaling if you want. You're not going to get stranded anywhere. And if you want to use just the assist, I find I can go about 25, 26 miles in hilly country using just the battery, right? But I mean, it's got pedals, so you can pedal it when you need to. Now, I've had this thing for a year and a half. No problems. Nothing's broken on it. And here's some tips about electric bicycles. They do weigh more. You got to be strong. But since they weigh more, see the brakes? All right. They are hydraulic brakes. They don't have brake fluid. They have mineral oil inside. So hydraulic disc brakes can really stop all that weight. Believe me, here's a cheaper electric bike. It just has mechanical brakes with a cable. They don't work that well. I also like this because it has real gears. As you can see, it's got 8 speeds. You know, climbing, driving all you want. You don't want to get one that's got 3 speeds, 4 speeds, or 5 speeds. That's not really enough. I mean, if you're going to use the electric motor all the time, that's another story. But eventually you run out of power and you're going to have to be pedaling, right? If you go a really far distance. It also has dampening front shocks. I like that. It's a comfy ride. This particular one just has a hard frame. There's no shock in the back. The more modern ones also have a monoshock here, and they ride even better than these. But come on now, it's a bicycle, it's not a Cadillac. You don't expect a really smooth ride, and it handles really well. And if you really want to go hard, you can even turn the adjustments on the shocks and you can lock them out so it's like solid with no shock, so it's real tight handling. It's going to ride a lot rougher, but it's got that capability too. Particular design has handles I love, because when you're riding, the palm of your hand sits on this nice little part. It's much better than regular grips. I like it. And if you're just using electricity, it's got a nice thumb throttle. That's the throttle to make it go. I gotta say, I'm really impressed by this bike, but my wife hates it. She's barely 5 feet tall. She says it's way too heavy, it's too tall. So, her bike comes out next. And as you can imagine, her bike's a lot smaller. But still, it's not super light. But it's a lot easier to pick up. And as you can see, it takes up a lot less space, too. You can probably get 3 of these in there. But just like the other bike, pretty easy to snap it together. We lock this in place, and we'll put the kickstand down. Now, just like my bike, it's got these fold-down pedals to take up even less space. It also has hydraulic brakes, mineral oil, so it stops fine. But it's got a smaller battery that fits in here, and it only has pedal assist. This is just a bell. This only gives boost to the motor in the back when you're pedaling, which actually my wife likes better. I don't like it, but she likes it. Why does she like it? Because she's been on my bigger bikes, and when she pushes that throttle, electric motors have instant torque. They take off. Sometimes the wheels pop up. Scared the heck out of her. She likes this, that you can just turn it on, and as you pedal, it accelerates, and it's got 3 levels. Level 1, level 2, level 3, which you can set on it, so you can get firmer assist or less assist, and she just does it on 1. So even though they're kind of radically different bikes, they fit us each. She can sit on this, being only 5'1", everything's a good size for her. She likes the smaller wheels because she doesn't like the big giant wheels. It makes her feel uncomfortable. This is more like her old 10-speed that she used to have that she bought in high school. But me, I like my bigger Ritalin, right? Big battery, goes a long time. Nice big wheels, you can ride in the dirt, you can go through fields, right? It's an excellent bike. Seat's adjustable for all kinds of people. And sure, this little Fido electric bike, too small for me, but my wife loves it. And honestly, these are great. We can throw in the back of the Matrix, go wherever we want, take them out, ride around, come back, and then get home in air-conditioned splendor of the Matrix. Now, the next thing I'm talking about may not be as much fun, although I suppose you can have fun with it, but it is this Borescope. Now, when I was young, these Borescopes, good ones, cost thousands and thousands of dollars, but times have changed. This baby's on Amazon, depth stick, 71 bucks. Now, it's only limited by your imagination, right? But the reason this is a good one is it has one camera on the front, another camera on the side, and the other side, another. So it has 3 cameras. The problem is, say you're going in a hole and you're looking around, you're either wiggling the thing all around, or if you gotta look up, you put a mirror on it, or the really expensive ones that still cost over $1,000. They're articulated where you got a little controller like doctors doing surgery, and this end will wiggle up and down to see things, but often you don't have the space to wiggle it up and down. So if you have 3 cameras, you can see everything without having to wiggle the stupid thing around. So you can see, since it has 3 lenses, instead of having to wiggle around, you just push this button down here. Watch. There's one view. There's the other view. And there's the third view. Nobody wants to be wiggling the wires around looking. You put it in place, and you can see it's got a super long cable. You could use it for looking in sewer systems for leaks if you wanted, you know? Once you're in place, you can see forward, and you can see all the way around. I mean, it's a phenomenal device. You can put them in engines, needs cleaning or whatever, right? You can use these for so many things. Let's say you got a refrigerant leak. You can put colored dye in a system. This will find a colored dye. I can't fit my head in half of those spaces in a car. This tiny little thing will go anywhere. And for 71 bucks, hey, this is the most impressive one I've found for a lot of reasons. One is, I hate the ones that work on your phone with the app, because the apps don't work half the time. This is a standalone device, and it's 71 bucks. Hey, yeah, go ahead. You can buy the $20 one on Amazon that comes with a cord and software that goes on this, but it's not going to work like this. It's not going to have 3 cameras, a long cord. This thing really has an awful lot of usages, and I've had no problems at all with it yet. Now, it does have a lithium-ion battery in it, so you never have to buy batteries. I don't know what the lifespan is at. I've only had it for 3 months. Realize I've got like 25 of these things from different companies, and I'm always trying them all out. So far, this is the best one that I've found, and it's called the DS450. Simple to remember. You can find it on Amazon anywhere, right? You're looking for a little Borescope. This thing is quite good, especially in that price range. Like I said, something like this years ago would have cost thousands of dollars, and it would only had 1 camera, wouldn't have had 3 in them. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is this Autel Level 2 charger for electric cars. Now, if you're going to buy an electric car, you have to have a Level 2 charger so you can plug this into your car and charge it at home. You can forget using the 112 volt charger that comes with the car. You plug into your wall 112 volts. It takes forever. If you had a Tesla, it would take days to recharge it, right? This is a Level 2, and it uses 220 volts, which is going to charge it much, much faster. They're very easy to use. They come with an Autel charger app. It's free. You put it on your cell phone, and it operates the whole system. They're basically smart transformers. They computer interface with your car, check to make sure it's ready for charging. If something's dangerous, they won't charge. They'll give you a warning. This particular one was around $500. Now, there's only one downside of these things, and that's that they're 220 volts. So, you gotta have 220 volts running from your main power box. This is the secondary power box here. That goes down into the cellar. It goes through the kitchen floor, underneath to the cellar, past my little filming area here. You wonder how I film? This is how I film. It goes under through here to the denizens of the basement. Wife is washing something. It goes all the way to our main 200 amp fuse box. Well, that's a long way. No way out of it in my house because the garage is over here. We got to go the whole way around the front. The power lines are up here, and the power lines come in right here at the back of the house. So, there's the main power coming in. I mean, you could stick it here, but then you'd have to drive your car on the lawn. I don't think the wife would go for that. Of course, you could run a conduit the whole way on the outside, but I think the wife would go for that even less. Now, luckily for me, the previous owner of this house did the whole house over, gutted it, and while it was gutted, he didn't have an all-tel, he had a different charger, but he had it wired for 220 volts here because he had a Tesla, and so he was charging his electric car. So I didn't have to pay. Now, he did it when the house was gutted. You can imagine today, you'd have to tear the walls apart, and it would cost you a lot, thousands and thousands of dollars. So you might see where your power line is to power one of these things, because they use an immense amount of power, and you can't just get an extension cord, baby. This thing's got to be hardwired. 220 volts. Buying this, hey, $500 or so, spit in a bucket. It's the electrician's bill that you're going to have to pay if your power supply is far away from your garage. So, just realize that. But as for the all-tel charger itself, I got no complaints. It works perfectly fine. Everybody whines about, oh, well, what kind are you going to use? Look, they come with the charger and an adapter. You got different kinds. You just have different adapters. It's not that big of a deal. It is if you're on the road and you don't have one that an adapter fixed, but it's your own house. So, leave the adapter at your house if you need an adapter, right, man? It's a good system. If you want to get an electric car, you have to have one of these. Or you're going to be plugging it into 110 volts, and in the case of a Tesla, if it was fully depleted, it would take 2 to 3 days to recharge the thing. So if, say, you got a fully depleted Tesla, well, it can take between 5 and 12 hours for one of these to fully recharge it. Now, of course, I'm saying, hold off on electric cars. Who knows? It's going to be an infrastructure for them. Are they going to make better batteries than they have today? But if you want to be a guinea pig and buy an electric car, you're going to have to buy one of these chargers if you're going to do any type of range driving. Because, are you going to sit for 2-3 days to charge your car up? Or are you going to sit for 5 to 7 hours? California, where they've done studies, something like 90-something% of the charging is done at home. And they're almost all using these level 2 chargers. And hey, if anybody's got a product they think is worthwhile for the world, send them to me. I test them out honestly. I charge absolutely nothing to test them out to see if things are worthwhile for other people to buy. So if you think you've got something, send me one. I'll try it out. Just realize, I've been a mechanic for 55 years. I'm going to actually try these things out. If you're brave and you got a good product, hey, send me one. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.